BBC Radio welcomes Alexander Dakers to the show on racism and his political art at the Strand Gallery, London.
Reporting from the gallery by his phone, political artist Alexander Dakers.
Alec in London Bridge, good evening.
Good evening, Alec. Have we lost Alec? Is he there?
Hello.
Hello, Alec.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you very much. Well, I'd like to obviously talk about, because I've just arrived in London because I'm a professional artist, that's what I do.
Right.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you've come all the way. Where have you come from?
Well, I am from Glasgow, but I'm living in Bournemouth, so
Okay.
I've come all the way to London for an exhibition of my own exhibition, which might go quite well with what you're saying because it's supporting Amnesty International and human rights.
Okay, so tell us about. We'll talk about the exhibition in a minute, but I wanted to ask you about identity. I guess it's coming down to the conversation. It's coming around identity, sort of thing. When Rav, gets this abuse about being the not so British break off, and he's been called the P word. Where do you stand on that?
Well, I think it's disgusting that anyone can talk like that. I think it needs to be some sort of peace around here. We should respect each other. We only live once, so I think giving a helping hand and supporting someone means a lot to a lot of people around the world. And Britain should be proud of itself for what it's achieved in many things. So I think British needs to unite together. I think it's stronger that way.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, until you don't speak, no one can tell exactly where you're from, okay? Because you have the accent. Have you ever been in the receiving end of some derogatory terms or comments because of where you're from?
I have had that quite a lot. When I was younger, I was told, oh, Scottish, this and that, but you take it with a pinch of salt. I think it's quite sad that when you look at it, but it's the same with many things, including sport, when you have Andrew Murray, who's done terrific for British team.
Yes, he has, yeah.
And people are trying to say he's Scottish here and there, but it's British. What he's done is terrific for the British sport.
Yes.
So it's little things like that I think means a lot. I think Scotland and England have united stronger over the last couple of years. I think they something happened, especially after the independence vote in Scotland.
Right.
I think that showed that the Scottish people wanted to unite, stick for all the hard-fought soldiers of the war.
Yeah, do you think it also kind of in a sense, I don't know, I mean, look, I've not been to Glasgow before, but I've been to Edinburgh a few times, and I've never felt any different. I've always, for myself, I've just loved the Scottish culture and everything. But do you feel after that moment when you talk about the independence vote, do you feel it almost gave just that sense of pride of being British for everybody, whether you were Scottish or English, do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pride that's gone into it, and I think it's unity and United Kingdom as well.
Yes.
So I think it actually stood at a very valid point, and I think it's very important that Britain unites together. So they have to stop all this racism, etc. If it's happening around in different areas of the United Kingdom, because it's not acceptable. We should be working together to make our country stronger.
Do you know, there's going to be so many people, Alec, listening to BBC Radio London who are saying yes. They're probably shouting at the radio because they agree with you. I'm going to ask them to give us a call on 020 722 4000. But I also want to talk to you because you just started off the call telling us that you've got an exhibition with Amnesty International. You're being supported by Amnesty International, which you feel very much is quite poignant to be talking about it tonight when we're talking about identity and race. So talk to us a bit more about what's going on then. Where is the exhibition?
Exhibition is in the Strand Gallery. It's near Embankment Station. It's in St John Street. I'm doing it for Amnesty International because it affected, although I am Scottish, it affected my grandfather and my family who were in Chile in Santiago.
Wow.
And 60,000 people died in 1973 due to Augusto Pinochet.
Goodness me.
So I've generated £3,000 for the charity. With a lot of art critics and people coming to see the show. So I'd invite yourselves and many other people in London to see my work.
Well, we'd love to. I've just whilst you've been talking, typing up. So it's at the Strand Gallery, and it says, and I hope I've got this right. It says Alexander Dakers for Amnesty International. The name of the exhibition, it says Mothers of the Disappeared. Is that right?
That's the correct one, yeah.
So it's going to be tomorrow, Saturday. It's going to be, on the Saturday of 6th of September. So
Yeah, it's going to be Saturday and Sunday. It's the last days it's going to be on. But if you want to come down and see it, you're more than welcome. But I do a lot of different art as well. It's not just political art. But the last 4 pieces of Chile in one of the rooms downstairs are quite powerful. I've had people around Europe take photos of them,
Wow.
the work that I have down there. So.
I mean, it's poignant to be talking about this tonight, especially when we're talking about, as I say, identity. Do you feel, because, one of the questions we started the show off tonight with is how do we deal with racism? How do we kind of move forward? Do you think by doing your artwork, by having exhibitions like your exhibition, which is on at the Strand Gallery, by showing, going through political art, if you want to call it that, that you're sending out a message which maybe perhaps combats racism? What do you think about that?
I totally agree with you. I think it does combat racism, but I think it shows the disaster that happened to many different people,
Yes.
and the strength of the families to get through that horrendous time. And times like that can never be forgotten. But we must go forward, especially with the events in Chile, that the Chilean people must move forward to build a better Santiago. Exactly the same that Britain should do, is work together to get a stronger Britain to stop all these problems happening.
So in a way, I mean, I think that's such a beautiful thing to say, isn't it? You think it's about the creative, perhaps earlier on at the beginning of the show, we had Steve who called in and he said, and I'm going to quote here, when he was speaking, he actually said that the media and the government perpetuate racism. That was his perspective. Do you think then that perhaps the creative industry, artists like yourself, are able to combat that racism, that's the way that we can combat the hatred or the racism that we do see, whether it's in this country or, as you mentioned, Chile?
I think it does. I think art demonstrates a lot of things and gives you a different view. It makes you think differently instead of writing stuff and reading stuff of the politicians, etc., around the world. But art can generate something different inside you and make you feel different about different agendas. So I do encourage people to see my work because, especially political art, for the people that died in Santiago, and also raising £3,000 for Amnesty International and giving a cheque to Kate Allen, I think was very important. But I would love to see both of you there.
We'll definitely try to do it.
We will.
I just want to quickly ask, also I just wanted to quickly say, Alex, as well, if somebody is listening right now and thinking, you know what, I want to follow this guy on Instagram or on Twitter, how can they get your information on those social platforms, which I'm sure you're a part of?
Yeah, they can just find me. I'm on Zander Artwork. You can find me anywhere. Google Zander Artwork. This is my 3rd exhibition. I've had 2 in Bournemouth, 1 in London, and then I got Glasgow next year signed off as well. So my
Congratulations. And it's great to hear that you brought it to London. We always love that. I say this all the time, Alec. I know it's the first time we've called in. I say it all the time. Everything comes to London, and I love that.
And I like the fact that you're in London and you listen to BBC Radio London,
exactly.
and I love that.
Good on you.
Thank you so much,
Listen,
Alex.
lovely talking to you tonight. Thank you so much. Alec, a.k.a. Alex Dakers, Alexander Artwork. He's given us the details. So I'm going to give you one more time. If you're tuning into BBC Radio London, you can follow him on @Zander Artwork, ZANDER Artwork, and his actual exhibition is on in the Strand Gallery. It's on until Sunday, this coming Sunday, and it's for Amnesty International. So thanks again, Alec. Now, if, like Alec, you're in London...